Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Now, we are still working our way backwards through Sibelius, the alphabet, and we have a few more Sibelius videos to come. Some of them are very, very interesting. Some of the titles we're going to be talking about are very, very interesting. So let's see what we have here for this stack. Here it is, El Stacco. Some of these things we've seen before because they just got duplicated and they're sitting around. But we're going to start with the beginning. Sibelius, complete music for cello and piano, and the theme and variations for cello solo. This is on BIS, number 40 in the complete Sibelius cycle, which is upstairs in a bunch of boxes, with Torleif Tedin and Folke Gresbeck. I don't know if I pronounced that right, and I don't care. So there you go. Some interesting Sibelius chamber music stuff you probably have never heard before. And then we've got the complete piano quartets. Who knew that he wrote piano quartets? Well, I did actually. And there are two of them. Well, there's one of them that's like a major work, the D minor, which is 30 minutes plus. And then there's other things. There's something called a quartet opera for violin, cello, and piano four hands from 1885. And it's 15 minutes long, and it's called Leunga Virginia. I mean, go figure that. Then there's another fragment of a quartet. Well, there's a quartet in G minor for violin, cello, piano, and harmonium. And then a C minor quartet for, it's only 8 minutes, for two violins, cello, and piano. Really, what a weird collection of things. Sibelius ephemera, most of it very, very early. In fact, all of it, I think, is very, very early. Yeah, 1891 is the latest anything here, with a bunch of really fine soloists. We don't need to go into that. And that's on BIS. Then we have some tone poems and things with Vladimir Ashkenazy. The Ashkenazy stuff is Finlandia, the Karelia Suite, Luanatar with Elizabeth Söderström, who's okay, actually. It's not one of her best things. Tapiola and Ansaga, all with the Philharmonia and Ashkenazy. Some of you love his Philharmonia Sibelius recordings. I have not been terribly impressed by them by and large, with a couple exceptions like the First Symphony. But these aren't bad. Part of the problem was this sort of glary early digital recording that was annoying. And then we've got the Orchestra de la Suisse Romande and Horst Stein, who made some really fine records. And these included, you've got Pohjola's Daughter, Night Ride and Sunrise, and the four Lemminkainen Legends. Good performances, surprisingly good performances. That's why I kept that sitting around. Then we've got, let's see, what's this one? On Chandos, which has now been purchased by Klaus Heymann of Naxos, which is kind of exciting to see what happens there. The Danish National Radio Symphony Orchestra under Leif Segerstam doing Scène Historique numbers 1 and 2 and the Pelléas and Mélisande suite. Quite lovely. Lovely. I mean, you know, Segerstam's always interesting in Sibelius, although his first cycle for Chandos with those forces was sort of like, but he fixed it later. Let's see. Segerstam, Danish National Radio Symphony, again, Finlandia, Scene with Cranes, Tapiola, Ansaga, Vals Triste, and Pohjola's Daughter, most of which he remade, or a lot of which he remade on Ondine. And like I said, those performances are generally better. But again, I like to hang on to these things because I just kind of do. This is a wonderful disc. Ormandy and Bernstein. You've got Finlandia, the Vals Triste, the Swan of Tuonela, the Karelia Suite, and Ansaga, all with Ormandy in Philadelphia. And then you've got Pohjola's Daughter with Bernstein and the New York Philharmonic, which is one of the very best versions of that piece. It's amazing. It always has been. Then we've got this wonderful Debussy Pelléas et Mélisande thing on Supraphon. Now remember, they did like all four Pelléas et Mélisande things at one point, I think. But this is the Pelléas et Mélisande Symphony by Debussy, with music taken from the opera, 24 minutes of stuff in one continuous sort of Stokowski and symphonic synthesis, arranged by Marius Constant, which is terrific. And then the Pelléas and Mélisande incidental music with Serge Baudo, beautifully played by the Czech Philharmonic. Oh, they're lovely in that music. They really are. Classic Sibelius. All right, this is one of those collection things on Ondine with the Tampere Philharmonic Orchestra under Tuomas Ollila. You've got the Karelia Suite on Saga, Pohjola's Daughter, Valstrist, and Finlandia. Right, how many of these do we need? I know. It just keeps coming, doesn't it? And what's this one? Oh, this is that Horst Stein recording, although you get some more goodies. You get on Saga, the Swan of Tuonela, and Finlandia, because he did more Sibelius than just Pohjola's Daughter and the Lemminkainen Suite. So these are the other tone poem things he did on Decca Weekend Classics. Remember that? You know, you could only listen to them on Saturdays and Sundays. If you tried to listen to them during the week, they would like self-destruct and blow up your living room. Let's this. Oh, Barbaroli. This was his good Sibelius other stuff recording, because his symphony remakes with Halle were really sloppy and not very good. They were some of his last recordings. He was in bad shape when he made them. But here we've got Finlandia, the Karelia Suite, Pohjola's Daughter, the Valstrist, and Lemminkainen's Return. And despite these snake charmer oboes and somewhat scruffy strings, these are exciting and rugged and wonderful performances. They really are. They're just lovely. Then we've got like more nifty bis things. Jungfrun i Tornet, The Maiden in the Tower, one-act opera, 35 minutes long. This was fun when I went to hear it. And the Karelia Suite with Nimi Järvi, the Gothenburg Symphony Orchestra. Yes, what happens in this opera? Well, there's a maiden. She's in a tower. She's being kept there against her will. Some guy comes and sets her free. End of opera, basically. It's fun. It's tuneful. It's in that Karelia style. I have the score. It's got like endless bass drum rolls in it, which I can't quite figure out why. But it's enjoyable. It's only got 3 characters, right? A tenor, a baritone, well, 4 characters. Yes, and Marianne Hagender is the Jungfrau, and Jorma Hyninen is like the bad guy, and Erland Hagegaard is the good guy, or something like that. And it's enjoyable. It's a real rarity, you know. I mean, it goes to show why Sibelius never wrote an opera, actually. There's nothing that happens there. But the music itself is quite pleasant. He wrote it for some sort of like, you know, women's club afternoon social. But it's for like reasonably full orchestra and whatnot, you know. I mean, obviously they weren't going to have a lavish staging of 35-minute long opera, but yeah, there it is. Then we've got the complete, oh, these are complete incidental music things. Jedermann, Belshazzar's Feast, and the Countess's Portrait, which is this 3-minute long thing. This was the world premiere recording. Now, I think these complete incidental music things are actually a mixed bag, because the suites that Sibelius arranged, by and large, were very, very smart and well done and well made. And they do the music much better justice than listening to like lots of little sniglets with, you know, that go nowhere and stop and start and have all kinds of fragmentary things. He never, however, did a suite from Jedermann, from the Hofmannsthal's play, actually. And there's some really good music in it. There is. But most of these things, like I said, are very short. But there is a big, long, 9-minute long Largo in here, and some other, you know, slow things. And Con Grande Dolore. Yeah, it's got lots of dolore, lots of sadness. It's a powerful piece. And, you know, somebody should make a suite out of it if they have it. Let's see. Then we've got here, oh, yeah, more Nimi Järvi tone poem thingies. We've got Spring Song, The Bard, the Valse Lyrique, Autrefois, Scène Pastorale pour Orchestre. It has like singers singing or vocalizing in it. And then we've got the Valse Chevaleresque. These are all these efforts to try and duplicate the success of the Valse Triste, on which he made no money because he sold it to his publisher. And none of them worked. None of them worked. But the music is charming. The Suite Mignon, the Suite Champêtre, and the Suite Caractéristique. And the Presto for String Orchestra, which is just in manuscript. Okay, there's that. And then we've got The Tempest. Is this all of The Tempest? No, these are all the suites and the overture and that stuff, along with Tierra for brass septet and percussion, and the Prelude for wind and brass, and the Cassazione, Opus 6, which is a lovely work that nobody knows. It's really kind of nice. There's that. And the Violin Concerto, the normal violin concerto with Silvia Marcovici, the overture in A minor, which was written at the same time as the Second Symphony. And I think it was played at the same concert. It was premiered at the same concert and then ignored for the rest of time. The Minuetto from 1894, and In Memoriam, Funeral March for Orchestra, a dark Mahlerian piece, rather interesting for those who think Sibelius and Mahler are poles apart. Give that a shot, it may surprise you. Then we've got 6 violin and orchestra stuff that's not the concerto. The 6 humoresques for violin and orchestra, which are delicious. They're wonderful little works. 2 serenades for violin and orchestra, also lovely. 2 pieces for violin and orchestra, also lovely. This is very nice stuff, these short little doodads that he dropped now and again. And then the overture in E major, which is quite early. I think it's his earliest orchestral piece, or one of them, along with the ballet scene, which is the next thing on here. Early Sibelius attempting to write orchestral music, and fun to listen to. And then finally, the Swan White Suite and Belshazzar's Feast Suite, the Dryad, which is juicy, the Dance Intermezzo, which I just love, and Pan and Echo. See, the Dryad and the Dance Intermezzo originally went together. They were part of like the same opus. It's a diptych. And then Pan and Echo, which is quite lovely. So this is with Gothenburg and Nimi Järvi. And it's part of what was in the collection. Some of it, I think. Some of it they remade with what's his name, Osmo Venska and Lati. But these are very, very good, which is why I keep them. So that's this pile of Sibelius. Mostly tone poems and incidental music, I see. Were there any symphonies here at all? No, none. Okay, pretty cool. And the opera, the Maiden in the Tower. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.